feel like I haven't been giving myself enough time to think lately, and today I feel like I was able to snap out of it a little bit, and like I was able to actually choose to do something instead of automatically doing it. My sleep schedule has also been quite bad, so like I went to bed at 3 and then yesterday went to bed at like 1 o'clock, and today hopefully it's it's 10, so hopefully I get to go to bed by 11. That's the goal, because tomorrow's a pretty busy day for me. I have like an orientation for my job, and then a doctor's appointment, and then climbing. I think something that there's a couple things I've been thinking about recently. The first thing is I've been thinking about what I want to do in the future, and I've been thinking about how art relates to that. And I've also been thinking about desire and like suppression of desire. And I've also been thinking about, I guess, like first world problems, essentially. So today I was struggling to get things done, so I gave myself a moment to just calm down and give myself time to sort of sit with the sort of shame of doing nothing for the day and the uncomfortability of being disappointed in yourself. And sometimes it can be bad to do that, to dwell on it. But sometimes if you're running away from it, looking it directly in the face, forcing yourself to stop and address what you're doing wrong is a good way to like get yourself like off your ass and pretty much get things done. So it sort of worked for me today, and I just wrote a list of things that I wanted to do, and on that list was like record a video. So that's the last thing on my list, so I told myself I would do it. In regards to art, I've been picking up more and more hobbies recently, like climbing. I've been only doing it for I started in October of 2023, and I only got to do it for about 1.5 months. 1.5 months, no, it was 1.5 months. I left the country in November, and I had to take a 6-month break, even though I was getting really into it. And I was very excited that when I came back, I still felt pretty good. So then I started up again in May. So May, June, July, and now it's August. And so adding on my 1.5 months, it's been about 6 months of climbing. And in those 6 months, I've gone all the way up to being able to climb V6. So I feel pretty good about my progress. At the same time, I also feel very good about my mental stability while doing it, in the sense that I haven't really lost interest or stopped liking it. I still really enjoy it. Maybe I don't get like the same, well, maybe I do. I wouldn't know because I can't remember, but every time I walk into the gym, it's like the first day for me. I feel like I get in, I'm very relaxed, or I'm extremely excited and like ready to go, which is really good. Because I often feel that I lose steam on activities, and I sort of will have a like big moment of obsession and then have that taper off and not really have a commitment. So in this instance, I feel that my commitment, but also my motivation is really carrying me here, and it's really good to see that I can maintain motivation for something over such a long period of time and still be able to do it like 3, 4, even 5 hours a day and still want to do more, so that's been really cool to feel. I really feel like, I wouldn't say at home in the climbing gym, but I really feel like it's a place where I can eventually like learn to thrive. Yeah. And I also recently picked up cello. In the past, I really didn't like it. I played cello for like 12 years, and every year I just wanted to quit, and I stopped practicing, and now that I've picked it up again, I have a little bit more commitment, and because it's me choosing to play instead of my parents forcing me to, essentially, I'm honestly enjoying it a bit, and it's nice to feel that I've not improved on, but like that I have gotten better at focusing and practicing an activity that I used to not like so much. So, and also I feel like I do get, and I did get enjoyment out of playing the cello. And so it's nice to get that spark back. And so in the midst of me sort of finding things that I'm more committed to and practicing and feeling progress, artistically, it's something that I feel, not artistically, that would be the wrong adverb. I feel as though, in regards to my art, my other activities have sort of overshadowed it, and the motivation I feel for climbing, and the joy I feel while climbing, and not the joy I feel while playing the cello, but also the satisfaction I get from it, has sort of painted a pretty strong contrasting picture versus my experience of art. I feel as though I don't really like it. While I'm doing it, I'm sort of in in like a weird space of it constantly feels like I'm doing something that I want to get to the end and then I'll put it down. And it's rarely something I feel that satisfied with, in the sense that when I'm playing the cello or when I'm climbing, I can do something and feel satisfaction and also feel like I've achieved something and it's moving towards a greater goal. Whereas with drawing, I don't really feel that I can see any improvement. And I know some people just enjoy art, and they just enjoy like drawing or painting, and they enjoy the process of getting better. But they also, I don't know if this is true or not, but some people still enjoy something even when they're bad at it. Like when I was climbing, I just looked up to people that I was better, that I was worse than, and I really wanted to be better, and being worse didn't discourage me. But with art, it almost feels like obviously I look at my friends who are really good, and I do admire them a lot, and I do acknowledge that their work is really, really good. But for me, there's like an added layer of like almost like envy, I guess. And also shame in my own ability. But I feel like more so that feeling of not being good enough compared to where I feel I should be, and also of this growing feeling of shame that I seem to not enjoy something as much as my other artistic friends do, when I feel like art is something that I've built like the past 2 or 3 years around. And also feeling that I'm just not good at it, and that this feeling of not liking it is just a signal that I should do it. Like for me, there are activities that have fulfillment in and of themselves. You know, cello, climbing, doing videos, reading. These are all things that I get something out of without sort of outside input, so to speak. I feel like I would climb if no one was there. You know, I do enjoy the climbing community a lot, and obviously it makes it 100 times better to climb with other people. But I would still climb if no one in the world climbed, or if I had to climb just by myself, I think. And the same with the cello. You know, cello is practicing, it's very solitary, except for performances, but now because I'm not doing orchestra or anything like that, I still think I would do it. It's just fulfilling in and of itself. And same with like filming videos. even without outside input. You know, I still really enjoy making these because I feel like I learned something about myself. And with reading, obviously you get the to learn something new from the author, gain a new perspective. You know, these are all, like, obviously reading is more of like an entertainment thing. Well, not necessarily an entertainment thing, but like more consuming thing than a creating thing or an activity. But still, all these things I find fulfillment in, regardless of the circumstances. And to feel that, I feel like I should like art, and that I am like a very creative person. And by that I mean like I really enjoyed making things, and I really did enjoy like making sculpture, and I enjoyed a lot all of my art classes. But I also recently visited the museum, like a couple big museums, and I found myself like not liking anything and feeling like I felt like there was no one that I found that I really enjoyed, no art that I found that I really enjoyed or resonated with. And there's sort of no one to look up to. And I also feel that in terms of compared to my other activities, my art has been much more solitary of a pursuit. I would say out of all of the things that I do, cello would probably be the most like it. And yet with the cello, I feel like there's something different. Maybe it's the newness, but also there's a sense that I feel like I'm making progress towards something. Versus in my art, I'm just never satisfied with anything that I make or any of the practice that I do. Maybe it's just because maybe I don't know how to practice properly. But every time I look at the things I make, I like don't ever want to look at them again. Or when I look at them, they just discourage me. I don't see any progress. I also don't know what I would do with art within the medium. For me, like, what do artists do nowadays? You're either selling a product, or you're selling commissions, or you're doing like videos, or you're like making pieces for galleries. Obviously there's like hired artists like animators and stuff like that. But I don't know, like none of those things like I feel like seem enjoyable to me. And I just don't understand any of the meaning behind it. for me, I really value being able to serve other people. And for me, I don't know how art can really solve any problems. And if just that, well, that coupled with the fact that in the short term, or at least right now, I don't even enjoy it anymore. It seems like there's no really little reason or big reason to do it anymore. At least for me. Not to say that art isn't bad, but I just personally can't see any enjoyment in it anymore or any meaning behind it. Just for myself. I don't know where its place is in my life. I don't think I have admitted it to myself before, but that's how I feel. And I feel like with that, I've kind of accepted that I'm lost and that I can't just hold on to things if, like, it's worse to be lost and pretend that you're not. It's better to know that you're lost so you can start finding a way out of it. And so, yeah. I had something written in my notes. So I had an idea yesterday about desire and whether it should be suppressed or accepted. Like, just how do you deal with it in general? Because I feel like in my own life, I have a lot of desires, obviously, but I feel like personally, I do a lot of suppression of my desires. Instead of acceptance of my desires. And that's almost made it like, it doesn't mean you don't desire as much as someone else. It just means that it comes out in different ways. For example, I think my sister is much more open in expressing what she wants and working towards how to get it. Versus me, if I feel like I want something, deep down, if I can't justify a reason for it other than my own desire, like if there's nothing there other than pure want, instead of maybe like it's a need or it's a way to improve yourself so you can help others, or just a way of being of better service to the world. You know, if it's just, I want this, then I feel a little bit guilty about it. And so I'm trying to think about, because I feel like it has, of how that has negatively impacted my life. Because I feel like when you suppress your desires, sometimes it can come out like it's almost like a force that grows inside you, and then you let it all out, and then you suppress it again, you know, instead of letting it out more continuously or consistently. It can also lead to a lot of like suppressed guilt or like resentment towards other people who don't do the same things that you are doing, because you feel like you're beating yourself up a lot. Why are not other people beating themselves up a lot? It can lead to being more critical of yourself and other people at the same time. So yeah, just that observation. So today is August 7th. In pretty much 2 weeks, I'm going to start school. My job is going to start. I have an interview coming up soon, which I really hope that I get a second job, maybe even a third job if they don't have enough hours. But I really hope, I'm really looking forward to being able to work hard. I don't know how I'm feeling about meeting anybody new. Or just socializing in general. I feel like right now I have to put so much effort into it that I feel like almost not doing it would be a burden for sure, but at the same time it would allow me more time to focus on myself. And yeah, I was recently watching an interview with Erin McNeice, the Olympic British climber, and I was very impressed with her. Because she's more reserved, and she's a really, really good climber. But there's some sort of there's a sort of honesty that comes across in the way she talks. And she mentioned that she had to sacrifice a lot of things because of climbing, and how I couldn't really tell. Obviously it does take a toll to not be as social, but at the same time you're sort of at the top of your game, and you're doing something that you really like to do, and you're working really, really hard. And I feel like, not to compare what I'm doing to that of an Olympic climber, but that same position of trying to dedicate your life to something, trying to improve yourself as much as possible, and in that process you may inadvertently have to give up other things. For example, I know Schlatt in his old weekly slaps has talked about how in college you can only really choose 3 things. 2 things out of 3. School, grades, social life, or job. And he chose job and grades. And I think right now, like, most of my other friends have gone to 4-year universities. And going to community college, I would say, has been actually really cool, but also eye-opening to certain areas of my life where I feel like I'm too comfortable or I haven't worked hard enough at, and I really want to improve as a person because I feel like often I but like I've disappointed the people around me, and I feel like this is a point in my life where I shouldn't be, but I don't feel like I should put in the immense amount of effort I know that it takes to meet and make new connections, and instead I should focus on becoming a better person for the people that I do meet in the future. So yeah, that's how I'm feeling, and I think I've sort of made my peace with it, and no, I haven't made my peace with it, but it's come up in my head, and I think I will eventually be able to make peace with it, hopefully before the year starts. And yeah. I've also learned that being an adult can be, or like the transition between being a teenager to being an adult, if you're not going on a traditional path, it can be very isolating because you're not in the same school zone, you know. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. You can really, as you grow, I feel like you may have the opportunity to grow faster simply because you're not still in the school environment, which really, not to say that college holds your hand, but it holds your hand in the sense that it sort of gives you a general structure of what your life should look like or what the things that you should do. And when you're not, and you have to make your own decisions, and I feel like the freedom is more up to me in some areas and less in others. It's given me more of a sense to look at myself and figure out what I'm doing wrong. Because I feel like if I went to college, I would be more likely to just be a robot through the days, essentially, and not really have thought really hard about how to improve as a person. Yeah. Three things to be grateful for. It's kind of hard to think of what to be grateful for today. I'm really thankful for that brief moment in my day that allowed me to like snap out of it and sort of take control for a few hours. I'm really thankful for that. My day would have been so much more shit without it, and I think tomorrow would have been screwed up even more as well. I'm thankful for the love that I still have for like climbing. I think climbing has really been holding me up through these past few months as something of stability and something to return to that I know I enjoy. It's really been a pleasure. I'm also really thankful that I had this job. It's been really hard to find a job, so the fact that I got this opportunity early is very good. And I really wish that, I just hope that I'm not on the wrong path. Well, no, not necessarily, but I really hope that I'm going somewhere. I think a lot of my life, I didn't know where I was going, and I still don't. But now I think I'm less concerned about where it will go and more concerned that it will go somewhere. Like, I trust it will go somewhere, and I'm more like, I need to be as ready as possible for whatever it is. You know? Like, what if you train to be a very good, I don't know, whatever, let's say you study 4 years or something, and it turns out, like, well, you want to do something else now. I would rather I spent those 4 years really trying to improve myself and been like a reliable, hardworking, intelligent person that can quickly adapt to what is needed of me and be able to quickly move on and get it done, instead of realizing that I wasted 4 years. And that I didn't think hard enough about what I was doing. And what is kind of like, it's not the most important time of your life. It's just a really formative time in your life. And that's my wish. I just really want to use this time well. I really hope that I can use my time well.